In the final year of Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress, Games Workshop announced a boxed game, and with Imperial Agents coming out this week, it's time to take a look at the box that contains some of them. Greetings everyone, I am Sister LAIR and welcome to Combat Arena LAIR of the Beast review, unboxing. Anyway, I'm Sister LAIR and welcome to my armory. So, last year this box was announced to contain not just the heroes from Blackstone Fortress, but also the Dread Amble and generic Space Marine Sergeant from the Warhammer Space Marine Heroes blind boxes of last decade. So, Blackstone Fortress was an interesting setup, interesting thing. It gave us many... what's that knife? I'm totally a professional. It gave us a number of interesting characters through its expansions, initially in the form of that Psyker character, at least one character from the Mechanicus. Now both Pius Vaughn and Thaddeus the Purifier from the base game are being released as standalone models for the Imperial Agents. And so, I figured let's take a look at the box. Now, I already have a few Thaddeus the Purifiers, so you'll get to see that one of them painted up. But yeah, the game comes with first up, the game comes with a game book that provides rules on how things work, shows off the various miniatures that come in the box. Gotta love the token Space Marine that had to be in here for once. Space Marines with... Gotta love the equal attention cake that Space Marines get compared to every other faction. So we've got a how to play, we've got reference cards, got some stuff on the amble, we've got combat variants. But let's be real here. This spin-off of Blackstone Fortress, hey, the instructions are at the back. This spin-off of Blackstone Fortress, which, if you can find this on eBay, good luck to you. But both Blackstone Fortress and this are kind of discontinued. Blackstone Fortress has gone discontinued and went it a few months back, silently, without GW telling us. It would have been nice for, them to give us a final made-to-order run for those last folks that wanted to get it, although a lot of stockists still have it, so it's not like you're not going to be able to find it. You just might have to pay a little more. Hopefully you don't have to go through scalpers if you want it, because scalpers should be avoided. They are the scum of the earth, and GW enable them. So you've got your token set here, you've got, I think that's another token gauge thing. We've got the fold-out mat, which is reminiscent of what came in Blackstone Fortress. I think this might have actually been taken from an expansion. Next, I just pushed one of those out, and a couple more have fallen out. Just put them aside. I'll grab the models out last because that's what you're here for. We've got a set of data cards by the look of it for the different units. Am I wrong? I'm deliberately trying not to damage the cards using, a knife, because I don't want to, because I can't really replace this box. I can, but it'll no doubt cost me a fortune, and part of me was tempted to get it, and then they sold out through eBay Games had them on their eBay page, and they sold out. And finding them in stores next to impossible. I had to pre-order this to because I wanted to make sure I could get it, and it was a cheap way of getting the characters rather than buying the whole Blackstone game for them. That being said, I would not mind having the game. Seriously, I wish they just put these in Ziplocs. Ziplocs make things easier. Because I don't want to damage anything. Oh well, that had to do then. Hopefully I didn't cut a card in half. So here we've got the thicker cards here, which we've got wound cards for the different characters by the look of it. Interesting to see how many skulls they have. So yeah, so this week with the Imperial Agents release we're getting that model, this model, and if I can find him much lower down, and this model released separately, which is cool. It's cool to get for them to be available. Yeah, we've got the cards and kind of states and rules and so on the back of them. If I actually get to play the game at some point, that could be really cool. I might have to play with a friend who's better at understanding rules than I am. It took me ages to learn various editions of the game, and I haven't even started. I tried with 9th and gave up after I had a bad experience. Yes, just cooperate. So here we've got, I think, action cards here. Yeah, we've got effect and action cards. We've got one for the, we've got some other numbered cards and so on. These all make a lot more sense if I actually read the game rule book, but oh well, doing this is a fresh thing. Next we've got more cards. Now I'll divide these off into Ziploc bags so they don't get intermingled and lost. But here we've got different effects and or actions with I think different requirements and what they do. Oh, oops, I'm doing that in a direction that you can't probably easily read it. So yes, we've got a decent collection of cards here. But the cards aren't what you're here for, are they? I know you, you're a Warhammer fan. You're here for the models, so let's take a look at. So, now they're built up, let's take a look at them. So first off, I'm going to grab Sergeant Venaro. He's a relatively generic chainsword and grav pistol sergeant, sculpt from back in the days of Space Marine Heroes, which I think you can still find this guy, the blind boxes for that one on shelf. It's a decent enough sculpt, his base is nice, bit out of character with the rest of them. Kind of would have liked some actual bases for the rest of these. But now on to the actual contents of the box that we care about. So starting off with the leader, we have, how do I say his name? Janis Dariek, I think, who is a decent looking Rogue Trader model. We've got a almost rapier looking power sword, and he's smoking a pipe. He's also got a funky creature died on his back, and I know I've seen people turn this model into commissars before. I mean, heck, just clean up a little bit, maybe change some of the details on it slightly, and put a commissar hat on and chop the top of his head a bit to then stick on a commissar hat, and bam, you've basically got a commissar right here. It's a pretty easy conversion for either a commissar or an officer for your Imperial Guard armies. It's a decent sculpt. I do like it. I kind of wish they'd bring it, kind of hope they bring it back for something, because yeah, Blackstone Fortress is now gone. Next up we have Millennia Shadow Guide, the Elder from the back. She's got an awesome looking sniper rifle of some variety. I'll just check the rules to see if it actually says what her weapon is. Be nice if... Oh no, it doesn't say it there, it's in the box below, so I don't really care. But yeah, splinter rifle maybe? I'm not overly familiar with Eldar, but I do like her design. From the target on her back to the blade and even the design of the long weapon. It's a gorgeous sculpt, if it is very sexualized in its design. Sure, she's not revealing anything, but there's no way those proportions aren't semi-designed to be sexualized. Next up we have the Kroot, who is named Dyak Grech. I'm probably mispronouncing, but that's as good as I got. It's a decent Kroot. I think I left a piece of flesh on the end of the weapon though. It's a nice enough sculpt. It's clearly got a pistol of some variety in addition to its rifle club thing. And like the spines on the back of its head's not nice as well. And Kroot just got an update recently, so yeah, kind of cool to see them get updated. Next for the Imperial Guard, we've got the two Ratlings. They're a decent enough design. One of them's got the sniper rifle, one of them's got a grappling hook gun. They both appear to have carapace armour, which is interesting. Ratlings normally only have flak armour. And yeah, Ratlings are essentially the 40k version of hobbits. They're a neat little unit, they're very good at cooking, also good at running black markets. And details wise, these are nice. I love the various icons they've got on their backpacks. And like how one of them's actively carrying a saucepan off the side of... Oh wait, no, that's a demo charge. Nice. But I'm sure there's a saucepan somewhere on them. If not visible, it'll be in one of their bags. They've even got las pistols, or at least one of them does. Oh yeah, both of them do. Except you can't really see them. Next up we've got the Amble and Boreworms. Decent design. I might have struggled to get bits of it off the sprue. I had a bit of trouble with one of the internal pins almost broke off at the base, which meant I had to glue it to itself and then I had to glue the pin back to the body so as it would act as a support for the model internally. And yeah, putting this thing together was interesting. I struggled a bit with the hand, and getting everything into place was wacky. I do like the design of the thing, but I don't see out of all of these models, the Amble is probably the most unlikely to return to 40k. Its little Boreworms are neat though. Aggressive little things with even more tiny things next to it. Like the way these work is kind of how I picture Ripper Swarms, where you've got the big one amongst them and then much smaller ones designed to burrow even harder around them. They're a neat idea. And it's cool that, you know, for the price of this box, you used to have to pay that for the Amble, when the Amble was its own expansion for Blackstone. On to... who else have we still got? We've got the Psyker, or Navigator. What's their actual name? Espan Lacarno. They are a Psyker. They're a Navigator, but Navigators are Psykers. And yeah, I'm guessing with the way that this thing is designed, it is doing damage through psychic powers rather than through conventional weapons, which generally is going to hurt. Although the Blackstone Fortress is presumably made of blackstone, which has an interesting effect on psychic abilities. Sometimes it blanks them, sometimes it amplifies them. Usually blanks. It was helping to keep the galaxy held together until the 13th Black Crusade happened, and previous Black Crusades had happened in other places. Next on to the Ministorum ones, because... oh wait, I forgot the robot. Out of these, while the Amble is the most likely to never come back, the robot's a close second. The robot doesn't really have much of a place in Imperial armies. It's a man of iron, but more than that, it's an automata. The only army that fields automata are Mechanicus, and even they are sparing with them, both because they can't make them anymore, and also because AI is outlawed by the Imperium. We may see, if Dark Mechanicum come to plastic, we may see corrupted versions of these, maybe as elite shock troops, on par with like Castellan, with like Cataphrons. But otherwise I don't really see these coming back. Now, for the Ministorum ones, Pius Vaughn, which is the, as the new releases would call it, Ministorum Priest with Vindicator, is a decent design. I'm not entirely sold on the model. The weapon feels wacky in not necessarily a good way. Like, you're going to do a lot more damage to... it feels almost like it's going to do more damage to itself than it will to the enemy the moment its chains make contact with something, because of the way the chains interact, go right past the fuel tank for the... go right past the fuel line for the flame cage at the end of the flamer. But at the same time, it is a nice model. And, like, if you end up with a few of these, the head from it would actually look really cool on a Sister of Battle. As a point, the plastic on these was wacky to build. I actually had a bit of trouble with the plastic itself being a lot... it's a bit more brittle and less forgiving than GW's plastic. If you've built Gunplay, you probably know exactly what it's like to build these things. And finally, it's time to talk about the other Ministorum Priest. Thaddeus the Purifier. Thaddeus is a wacky design. That becomes even more apparent as a wacky design when you actually paint the thing. Out of all of these models, Thaddeus is about the only one I've had prior that is anywhere near complete painting wise. And out of this box, funny enough, Thaddeus and Pius Vaughn are the ones that are actually going to be in a video before it, because of a certain pre-order. Thaddeus is a decent design. As a named character, it's a cool model. This model perfectly encapsulates the Ministorum. It's quite well armed, relatively well protected, looking at the carapace on it, and bloated. Like, I'm not fat shaming this dude, but like, look at him. He's kind of thick compared to everyone else in this cohort, minus the Amble and the robot, minus the opponent in the Amble and the robot in the Man of Iron over the back there. Unit you are 25. Apparently it's 25. But like, thickness wise, this guy's as thick as the waist of a Space Marine, if not the chest. That is a perfect encapsulation of the Ministorum. Ornately decorated, well armed and armoured, and very well fed. But yeah, details wise, this is a nice model. We've got plenty of funky pendants, censures. I've got at least one censure there. I don't see another one on him. He's got a little servo skull with what looks like a macro stubber. He's got an awesome imperial book up there, and he's got a interesting design of mace. It honestly reminds me of the Omega Lock from Transformers and Cybertron, but yeah, he's certainly covered in a few purity seals, and his robes are potentially very ill-fitting. Or maybe he is ill-fitting to his robes. But the hat is nice, and the hat actually is, like you can see from the model that I've painted up, the hat actually has parts that cover his face. Anyway, these as a whole are a decent collection. If you can find this box and you want to get it, go for it. It may even be a fun game, I don't know. I haven't at the moment got someone to play it with. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And which one of the out of this cohort are your favourites? I'd love to hear. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.